Good afternoon from Richmond. Time is now 14:06 Greenwich Mean Time, and today I'll be travelling on London Overground all the way from here to Stratford. That there was just a British Airways Boeing 777-200ER from Vancouver descending into Heathrow Airport. When I do look at flight radar 24 later on, I'll find out the other planes that fly over Richmond Station as they approach Heathrow Airport from the east. Maybe later on today I'll do Gothic Parking, then another day I'll do hybrid Willesden Junction to Clapham Junction via Surrey Quays, Willesden Junction to New Cross, hybrid Islington to Crystal Palace, and hybrid Islington to West Croydon, then Liverpool Street to Enfield Town, Liverpool Street to Cheshunt via Seven Sisters, Liverpool Street to Chingford, and then another day Romford to Upminster on London Overground, then starting off with TfL Rail from Liverpool Street to Shenfield, and then Paddington to Hayes and Harlington, Paddington to Reading, and Paddington to Heathrow Airport. I don't think Terminal 4 will be open when I do Paddington to Heathrow Airport. There must be an Airbus A320 of British Airways from Malta.
The train at platform 4 is the 1410 London Overground service to Stratford, calling at Kew Gardens, Gunnersbury, South Acton, Acton Central, Willesden Junction, Kensal Rise, Gunnersbury Park, Gunnersbury, West Hampstead, Finchley Road and Frognall, Hampstead Heath, Gospel Oak, Kentish Town West, Camden Road, Caledonian Road and Barnsbury, Highbury and Islington, Canonbury, Dalston Kingsland, Hackney Central, Alton, Hackney Wick and Stratford.
There's a couple of other planes, such as another A320 British Airways from Malaga. Not too sure, I'll figure it out later. That's an Airbus A350-1000 from Dubai of British Airways. It's now 2:09 PM Greenwich Mean Time. It's on Halloween at 2 AM here in the UK. Our clocks moved back, so at 1:59 AM it switched back to 1 AM. Okay, we're now ready to depart. Calling at all stations to Stratford. Some overground trains, they may have people on board to come and inspect you to see if you have like your bank card or Oyster card or whatever you use to travel. Our first stop will be Kew Gardens. there's plan engineering works between Clapham Junction and Willesden Junction. Thankfully I did Clapham Junction first because of plan engineering works. District line train from Upminster awaiting arrival into Richmond. I believe that is an Airbus A320 of British Airways. Could be from mainland Europe, could be from somewhere in the UK, such as Aberdeen or Manchester, but don't know yet. I'll figure it out later.
That's it. That's how you do it.
If you are travelling from Richmond to Stratford and you want to get there as quickly as you can, try changing at Willesden Junction for a Clapham Junction bound train. Change at Shepherd's Bush for the Central Line. And you're in Stratford in like basically half an hour or 35 minutes or so. Or maybe change at West Hampstead for the Jubilee Line for the remainder of the journey to Stratford.
What's close? 3 minutes. I got there at 7 past. What's close?
The next station is Kew Gardens.
I believe I see what looks like a 787 of British Airways. Or of Turkish Airlines from Istanbul. Now 2:13 PM. It was either a 777 or a 787 of Turkish Airlines from Istanbul. During the pandemic, Heathrow has seen an increase in cargo-only flights, not just using cargo aircraft, but using passenger aircraft as well. Since March 2020, the Gatwick Express has been suspended until further notice. So every half an hour there is a southern service between London, Victoria and Brighton. These trains call at East Croydon, Gatwick Airport, Haywards Heath and Brighton. Usually formed of Class 3 777s with 8 or 12 carriages. London St Pancras to Luton Airport Parkway. Quickest way of getting there is East Midlands Railway service. There's like one train every half hour from London St Pancras to Corby using Class 360s. These trains call at Luton Airport Parkway, Luton, Bedford, Wellingborough, Kettering and Corby. Just went over the Hounslow Loop. Stansted Airport, there's the Stansted Express, Liverpool Street to Tottenham Hale. Liverpool Street, Stansted Airport, calling at Tottenham Hale, Harlow Town, Bishop Stortford, Stansted Mount Fitchett and Stansted Airport. Some trains call at Harlow Town, others call it Bishop Stortford.
Next station is Gunnersbury. Change here for London Overground North
Stations that the Stansted Express trains calls at are randomised, while all trains call at Tottenham Hale. There are still Heathrow Express trains every 15 minutes that call at from Paddington to Terminal 5, calling at Terminals 2 and 3 and Terminal 5. TfL rail trains also run between Paddington and Heathrow Airport, but only to Terminals 2 and 3. And during the early mornings and late evenings, they extend to Terminal 5. They would normally extend to Terminal 4, but because of the pandemic, Terminal 4 is closed. Once Terminal 4 reopens, I'll eventually go to Terminal 4. If you're travelling on TfL rail from Paddington to Heathrow Airport and you want to go to Terminal 5, change at Terminals 2 and 3 for the Heathrow Express. They only allow Oyster cards between Terminals 2 and 3 and Terminal 5, not between Terminals 2 and 3 and Paddington. I recommend arriving at Heathrow around an hour and a half before your flight departs. At Heathrow. Or maybe just any airport in the world can also be 2 hours before your flight departs. Level crossing. We're now at South Acton Station.
Why would you do that? Let me sleep one night.
The trains that were supposed to be bringing to Clapham Junction are now terminating at Willesden Junction, and a rail replacement bus is in operation between Willesden Junction and Clapham Junction.
This is South Acton. Please mind the gap between the train and the platform.
Go to the power change at our next stop, Acton Central.
This is the London Overground service to Stratford. The next station is Acton Central.
Yeah.
The US will soon reopen borders to UK citizens who have been fully vaccinated. Probably later on in the year, if not, it'll probably be at the beginning of next year.
Acton Central. Please mind the gap between the train and the platform.
If I do go out, then I'll have to do a full journey by 4:20 PM, which is when the sun sets. The power change from third rail to overhead wire.
This is the London Overground service to Stratford. next station is Willesden Junction.
Pantograph up. The lights have turned back on. I think whoever wrote that was supposed to write Airbus. Not too sure exactly.
I actually better like this now. I'd say that looks
I still don't have any plans on what to do after I finish doing full journeys. Maybe doing full journeys on certain UK train services, or most train services across the UK, such as London Euston to Birmingham New Street via Northampton, or London Euston to Glasgow Central, London King's Cross to Newcastle, London King's Cross to Edinburgh, or maybe London Euston to Edinburgh via Birmingham New Street, or a couple of flights like London Heathrow to Glasgow, Edinburgh, Newcastle, Aberdeen, or Inverness. And maybe London Gatwick to Ascension via Madrid, or London to Tenerife via Madrid, or Palma. Now we're crossing the Great Western Main Line, Great Western Railway, TfL Rail and Heathrow Express. Link from the Great Western Main Line. The Central Line, which I did back in June. I always enjoy those Central Line full journey videos for some reason. I mean, doing the Central Line. Like out in the countryside, like Epping, Woodford is very peaceful. When I do the TfL rail to Heathrow Airport, then I'll watch a couple of planes at the airport before going back home. There is a TfL rail class 345 being delivered. Lots of class 345s over there in Old Oak Common Depot.
The next station is Willesden Junction. Change here for London Overground services to Clapham Junction, Watford Junction and London Euston, and for London Underground, Bakerloo Line. Please mind the gap between the train and the platform.
We're now crossing the West Coast Main Line. This train, if you want to change for Clapham Junction, then there are rail replacement buses available. A light for Willesden Town Centre. Now 2:26. Next train scheduled to pass through Willesden Junction is the 14:27 Avanti West Coast service to Birmingham New Street or Wolverhampton. Could possibly be extending to Wolverhampton from Birmingham New Street, but we can't see it. Because we left sooner than expected. I still have to do these journeys by the end of the month. One of these is slowly falling apart, but please keep your distance. Sticker. We're now approaching Kendall Rise, doors opening on the left hand side. Well, in fact, all stations apart from Caledonian Road and Barnsbury were doors open on the right. Doors will open on the left. At Stratford, it will be random. There are still no countries or territories on the red list. If there was a country or territory on the red list and the person had been through it or had been in that country or territory, then they would only be allowed to enter if they were a British or Irish national, or if they had residence rights in the UK. Change here for London Underground Jubilee Line from Kilburn. That is true because there's a 5-minute walk between Gunnersbury and Kilburn stations. You could even catch the bus between them two stations. Change here for London Underground Jubilee Line from Kilburn. Yeah, a homeless person just got on the train. We'll be going underneath the Chiltern Main Line as well as the Jubilee and Metropolitan lines.
Sorry guys, thanks for listening.
After West Hampstead, we'll go above the Midland Main Line. We'll also go above it again between Gospel Oak and Kentish Town West. Between Camden Road and Caledonian Road and Barnsbury, we'll go above the Midland Main Line and the East Coast Main Line.
Next station is West Hampstead. Change here for London Underground, Jubilee Line and National Rail services. Please keep your luggage with you at all times and report anything suspicious to a member of staff.
Also between Dalston Kingston and Acton Central, we'll go beneath the West Anglia Main Line before meeting up with the Great Eastern Main Line at Stratford. Change here for London Underground, Jubilee and Metropolitan lines from Finchley Road. Change here for London Underground, Jubilee and Metropolitan lines from Finchley Road.
One more time. It's the noise, the food, eating and drinking noise.
not natural hand gestures. Particularly let's wind up Saskia.
No barking train just yet. Trains are like every 15 minutes to barking. Sometimes it may be every half an hour. Like when Class 378s ran on that line. We're now crossing the Midland Main Line. Yeah, the East Midlands Railway services to Nottingham and Sheffield run non-stop between London and Kettering, or even from London to Market Harbour and Leicester. There's only like...
The next station is Kentish Town West. Please mind the gap between the train and the platform.
As I was saying, there's like one train per day between London St Pancras and Melton Mabry via Corby, which is run by a Class 222. The Class 360s are only allowed to run between London St Pancras and Corby. When the new East Midlands Railway Class 8 to 10s, like inspired by the Class 802, enter service.
This is Kentish Town West. Please mind the gap between the train and the platform.
They'll run on electric power south of Market Harbour. South of Market Harbour, they'll run on electric power down towards London St Pancras, and there won't be any electrification north of Market Harbour. The only exception is for when it's shared with the East Coast Main Line, like Doncaster to York and Leeds. But the line from Leeds to York is not electrified. There was just a neutral section. Change here for London Underground Northern Line from Camden Town. Yeah. Kentish Town to Elephant and Castle. Two choices: Northern Line via Bank or the Thames Link. Change here for London Underground Northern Line from Camden Town. Nearby Caledonian Road and Barnsbury is Her Majesty's Prison, Pentonville. There's also a new train operating company called Lumo, L-U-M-O. That runs about currently twice a day between London, King's Cross and Edinburgh. These trains only call at Newcastle, Morpeth and Edinburgh. And only one southbound train calls at Stevenage to set down only. Once there are more Lumo trains, more trains will call at Stevenage, pick up only towards Edinburgh and set down only towards London, King's Cross. Just like how Avanti West Coast uses Watford Junction as pick-up only towards Birmingham or Wolverhampton or beyond, and set down only for trains towards London Euston. Hull Trains also uses Stevenage as pick-up only towards Hull and set-down only towards London King's Cross. Some Hull Trains services have not even stopped at Stevenage, instead running non-stop between London King's Cross and Clapham. One above the Midland Main Line. Now we're going above the East Coast Main Line. The canal tunnels. There's the canal tunnels which leave the East Coast Main Line just north of London King's Cross. Thanks to the canal tunnel, there are now new Thameslink services, such as Peterborough to Horsham and Brighton to Cambridge.
The next station is Caledonian Road.
And change here for London Underground Piccadilly Line from Caledonian Road. And change here for London Underground Piccadilly Line from Caledonian Road. If you're not travelling via Zone 1, then you can tap on the purple-pink Oyster card reader at a certain station like Gospel Oak, or even Clapham Junction maybe. Doesn't work with bank cards, unfortunately, only Oyster cards. East London line starts here.
Next station is Hyde. Change here for London Overground services to Clapham Junction, New Cross, Crystal Palace and West Croydon via Ferry Quay, London Underground Victoria Line and National Rail services. Please mind the gap between the train and the platform.
Yeah, services on the East London line have also been affected due to planned engineering works.
It's defensively strong, but like not great in the final third.
It's still better than Aaron.
Because more people are boarding the train, because more people are getting on the train here, I'm gonna stick to this side of the train from now on, up until Stratford, where there's likely to be less people.
How do they do it? I think Gallagher would be good for us.
Gatwick.
Just sit. Rotation.
I was thinking as well, that's what I was like West on Thursday.
Why did he call it so so dumb? Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But you're aware of what you're doing.
Yeah, I know, mate.
You just really want to call this. You should have called this Dan Bar. Dan Junior. That's why you tried to make Dan Junior and you go instead. Probably like
OJ.
maybe one of
Oscar Santiago. Project
Central.
side. Limited threat. Oh, yeah, favourite average in midfield for United. Terrible. So terrible. They're currently yeah, I think that both teams out of form. It's big for a rapper.
Yeah, he was in charge of the Europa. Crazy.
Change here for London Overground services to Liverpool Street, Enfield Town, Cheshunt and Chingford, and National Rail services from Hackney Downs. Change here for London Overground lines and National Rail services from Hackney Downs.
Old busy. Nice. The only single like that is pretty much that.
seems a bit rash. Who are they going to get? Nuno? Do you reckon they'll go for Nuno? To be fair, I'll just take 7. Just something hot for it. Try and get that price. When did you start to do this on road to Sweden? If you manage to keep forward that budget, it's famous for remember they got tour guide, it's money for them, you've got to do it better. They took one of the towns, Solanke, Garbage, David Brooks, 18. No, but you don't have to know that. But I'm just saying, and then it's one as well, like, they're buying all these different shows, they were big packages, they weren't technically good enough to play Star Wars, but
Next station is Homerton. A line here for Homerton.
They've been drinking, it's still there, they've probably been drinking since we're late. Yeah, right.
Once I get to Stratford, I'll either do gospel to Barking, or if it's too dark, I'll just go home. Because it is actually starting to get dark. So if I don't do gospel to Barking today, then I'm sorry, but I'll have to wait till about later on this week when I'm available. Now people are starting to get off. At Stratford, you can also change for TfL Rail. As I mentioned previously, the announcements were pre-recorded from when TfL Rail didn't exist. now that TfL rail does exist, they should change it. There's the Olympic Stadium and the huge orbit thingy with the slide. Between Richmond and Kew Gardens, or between Gunnersbury and Kew Gardens, we crossed over the Thames. The source of the Thames is near Kemble in Gloucestershire. Yeah, the stadium says West Ham United. No, I don't think that might. It might be the Olympic Stadium, not too sure to be honest. It's called Stratford International because international trains pass through there, but no international trains actually call there. They only call it Ebbsfleet and Ashford International before, which are pick-up only towards mainland Europe and set down only towards St Pancras in London. Those travelling in economy on the Eurostar should arrive about 2 hours or an hour and a half at least before departure. And for business or first classes, also known as standard premier or business premier, they should arrive about half an hour to 45 minutes before departure. And TfL rail services. I think they might state that TfL rail is part of the national rail services that you have to change for here. Doors are opening on this side. Is it Stratford our final stop? Just need to find somewhere for a drink. No lift access for Central Line, TfL Rail or Overground. Lift access platforms 10 and 11 only on the Greater Anglia. No lift service Tottenham Hale and Underground Station until Monday 31st of May until late January 2022. TfL Rail Platform 5 for all trains to Liverpool Street. A penalty fare is at least £20. It's not just the UK that uses pounds, there's also Egypt that uses pounds, called Egyptian pounds. Sudan also uses pounds, they call them Sudanese pounds. Next TfL train is expected in 7 minutes. At 3:15. Bus service at Leigh-on-Sea for all stations to Shoeburyness. Leigh-on-Sea via Basildon. The next westbound Central Line train is in 2 minutes to Northolt. Ealing Broadway 7 minutes, West Ruislip 9 minutes, and Ealing Broadway also in 13 minutes. I like the Central Line trains just how they are. The only improvement they need is dot matrix displays. Trains calling at all stations to Hainault via Newbury Park. Epping in 2 minutes, Newbury Park 5 minutes, and Epping 8 minutes. Customers for stations between Hainault and Woodford change at Hainault. There's like a train one every 20 minutes or so. Goodbye, Central Line train Ealing Broadway to Hainault via Newbury Park. As your TfL rail train to Shenfield is now in platform 8. Economy class is the only class available on the TfL rail trains. Trains calling at all stations to Shenfield, Maryland, Forest Gate, Manor Park, Ilford, Seven Kings, Goat Mays, Chadwell Heath, Rumford, Gideon Park, Heraldwood, Brentwood and Shenfield. Not to be confused with Sheffield in the East Midlands, or maybe the North. Your next Central Line train should be here soon. 1 minute. This is your Central Line train to Epping, now approaching platform number 6. This is platform number 6, Central Line train to Epping. Your TfL rail service to Shenfield is now leaving. So that if no through train is indicated, take the first train and change at Leytonstone. This is eastbound. For westbound trains, if no through train is indicated, take the first train and change at North Acton. Or what? Time to get through the train.
For the Jubilee Line,
Customers for Ealing Broadway change at North Acton. Please mind the doors, this train is ready to depart. Five minutes. Yeah, this train will stay here for 5 or so minutes. Okay. I was wrong. Train's leaving now. next train won't be for like 5 minutes or so. Anyways, I think that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed this full journey all the way from Richmond to Stratford. And as always, I'll see you in the next video, which will be Gospel Extra Barking. Once again, stay safe. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.